Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about how I've been absolutely sucked in by Starfield, how I completely love this game, but how I almost hated it. So, I have a pretty decent PC, and when I first started to play Starfield, I noticed it did not run that well. I did, however, get some mods in, it took me a few hours. It probably took 1, 2, nearly 3 hours before I was fully happy with, how the game was running, and, before I could finally sit back and say, yeah, I can play this. So that was the first hurdle, and that was automatically a little bit off-putting for me. I mean, it's to be expected that, you might not be able to run the latest and greatest game, but I wasn't expecting to have to get third-party mods for that to work. They did do an update not too long ago which did actually fix most of that, but from a day one experience, not a great thing to have to be dealing with. So I finally get into the game, right? I start playing and there's a bunch of story dialogue, people talking, and it's dull. I am someone who does not really care all that much about story in games. I feel like the way that story is generally fed to you in games is very forced. My main priority when I buy, play, and intend to enjoy a game is that the gameplay is fun. And Starfield does have fun gameplay, but the very start of the game, it's like a lot of story. They're trying to get you immersed, I guess. But for me, immersion really comes from the gameplay and the story that you learn along the way, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. So I finally get past the intro sort of segment, which is about an hour maybe long, maybe a little longer than that. I'd racked up about 3 hours total gameplay, but you got to remember, I was trying to get mods to work, trying to make the game run smooth, so we can knock off about an hour or two for that. So I'd racked up about 3 hours, so probably about an hour of gameplay before I, was finally actually into the game. And it was at this point where I was thinking to myself, was this a valuable purchase? Was this a good idea? Should I have bought Starfield, or maybe I should have waited until it was on sale for a cheaper price or something? Have I made a mistake? And it was at this point when, I'd been going through all this slow story that I didn't care about, and I was just kind of bored. So, I decided I'll go off and do my own thing. So I land on a planet, and I go looking around, and I see another NPC, spaceship come and land on the planet next to me, not that far away. So I run over to it, and I actually board it with the intention of taking this aircraft and having it as my own, because that is a thing you can do in the game. I thought, all right, I'll do that. So I boarded this ship, and there was an actual squad on there, and these were people that I was friendly with. They're called UC, and they are friendly. They're one of the factions in the game. There's a few factions in the game. One of them is them, and they are pretty much everywhere, these UC security members. All of my main missions that I was trying to slowly work towards and do, it was all surrounded by these UC people, and I boarded one of their ships, killed everyone on board, and then tried to fly back to New Atlantis, which is the main city area, heavily guarded by UC security. They're walking all over. They're walking all through the town. They're heavily guarded by these UC security members. They're walking all through the city. They have patrol ships flying around the planet. And I decided, I'll go back and I'll claim this ship as my own. So I get into the atmosphere of the planet, and then my ship gets scanned, which is pretty normal. They want to scan you if you've got any contraband. You're not allowed to bring contraband onto certain planets. So, they do all that, but then so many other of these UC security spacecraft start shooting me down, and I actually get stuck. I get stuck in this loop where I die. I try and shoot the spacecraft that are there. My spacecraft gets blown up again, and it keeps going on rinse and repeat, repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. It keeps on happening. I keep dying, and I start to get angry. And at this point, this was all the fuel I needed to be I have made a mistake. I shouldn't have bought this game. I'm not having fun. So I take a break, and I do come back to it, and I ended up deciding, well, without me going back and loading an old save, what can I do to get rid of this bounty? So I looked online how you get rid of a bounty. You have to go to one of these certain terminals. So I fly to a completely different solar system, completely different planet, and I find one of these terminals, a planet that's not got UC security there. So I go and use the terminal, and my bounty is 91,000 credits, and I only had about 30,000. Now, combine this with making mistakes along the way, and I decided I was going to earn the 91k, and I ran into a bunch of side content, and I actually ended up like doing some side missions, and it was a lot of fun. You know, you don't make that much from side missions. Some of them are better than others, but generally speaking, you make a few thousand credits. But I was having fun doing it. You know, I was slowly working my way up to a new bounty. Eventually, through doing the side missions, I was working for a different faction, and they actually stopped me. They were like, we've been looking for you for ages. You know, we're going to have to take you back. We're going to shoot your ship if you don't follow us. So I was like, okay. They take me away to their like own spacecraft. They tell me that, you know, more story stuff. They tell me, we want you to work for us. So I was like, okay. And somehow, through doing that, they managed to completely clear my bounty. And I can now finally go back to playing the game after 15 hours. However, I want to say, it was difficult to get into. I'd say it took 4, 5 maybe hours before I was truly into the game and having fun. But since then, I have not stopped thinking about this game. I have not been able to stop thinking, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to go? Like, I'll finish like doing all my things for the day, right? I'll go to sleep, I'll go and lay in bed, and I'll be laying in bed thinking, damn, I want a new spacecraft. I'll be laying in bed thinking, I wonder what new weapons I'll find tomorrow. It is awesome. I'm having so much fun with the game. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, point out its flaws, and I think that's fair. I feel like that's what I've done in this video as well. There's definite flaws with the game. But I think when you finally kind of get into it and you're doing side content, you're not just hard focusing the main story, because I feel like this whole example has taught me not to do that in this game. I think it is a very fun game, and it's going to keep me entertained for quite some time. And that is about all I have to say. If you've enjoyed watching the video, if you've enjoyed listening, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos from me, and peace.